Welcome to the Fantasy Golf Bag live stream. I'm your host, Red Kachik, joined by JK Ray, ASU. Jedlow already in the chat. What's up, man? Jacob, I was not on the podcast. You were not on the podcast. How's it going?
It's going good. Just hanging out here in a hotel room. We're going to talk a little match play tonight.
Absolutely. We're going to do a little different show with the match play format. I think people in the chat will like it. And, of course, we'll be able to answer questions as they come up. But it should be pretty fun to kind of hit this bracket and go through and see where our heads are at. Obviously, the podcast had Axis, a.k.a. Fantasy Jesus, and Skylar Golf Gurus talking through the groups and their strategy and guys that they think are going to make it through each of those sections into the Final Four. So, yeah, no hat. I see Skylar in chat. Perfect, man. Hopefully you can hang around for a little bit. If people want to talk to someone much smarter than me, they can talk to you. So, what we're going to do, again, I'm starting to get better at the preview slides. So, that is moi, and this will be Mr. Jacob. And let's hit the agenda real quick. It'll be much different this time around. But again, pretty fun. I'll quickly touch on the podcast with you. I don't know if you had any thoughts, but we can go over that. We'll go through not really any weather, but if you want to touch on just the general weather, we can definitely talk about that. And then finish it off. Instead of projected ownership, we're actually going to walk through a bracket. And you and I can kind of pick our pieces and see where we meet in the middle and see if we can determine a perfect bracket tonight. And, of course, as guys come into the chat and have some questions, we can answer them as they come in. So I think it'll be pretty fun, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is the second chance for my other bracket that's already dead.
Yeah, I think I did one March Madness bracket, and I literally hit the random selector thing. It might have done good. I don't know. As chalky as it is, it probably hasn't, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And I see that you don't have a pretty background. You're traveling in the mountains of North Carolina, huh?
That's right. Work conference.
Oh, man. At least you can still get some research in. You don't have a bunch of kids running around. Maybe you can have some time after the pod or after the live stream to get some things going.
Hey, I'm going to pull a Drew and make all my lineups after this ends.
I still got to finish all mine, man. I'm running the 150, but I still got about 75 to go.
Are you building by hand?
No, not all of them. I just got to build the player pool and the allocations, so.
Oh, just all of it.
It's still everything, just not literally putting them in by hand, which is, it's nice. All right, man, let's talk about some podcasts, and then we'll get going into the bracket itself because I know it might take us a minute. So obviously, Axis Skylar had some pretty strong feelings on some guys going through, and I know we'll touch on it when we get to the bracket here in a minute. But was there any kind of lasting impressions on you as far as players or perhaps a strategy? Obviously, I think a lot of people have talked about, and Axis has put up a great article on the website as far as building non-dead lineups. And I think a lot of people are kind of getting to that point this year after last year being like the test drive. But kind of, where's your head at after the podcast or any of your research this week, even with your travel? Where are you looking?
So I know there's been a lot of conversation from what I have seen lately on Twitter and Slack about dead lineups, and I do agree that there's still edge to be gained there, but it's not near as significant as it was last year. I did see, I believe it was Giant Beer that said earlier today in the chat that because of that, it might be worth keying in on ownership a little bit more. So I thought that was an interesting take. I can certainly see merit in fading guys like potentially Tiger, who's super cheap and is in a cakewalk group.
Yeah, I think you gotta be smart about it. Like just taking an under-owned guy isn't the way to do it. It might be, maybe thinking in a different angle, getting past like the round of 16, and because maybe like. Say in group stage we have DJ and Matsuyama in one group, like right there, we'll just say they are 50-50 split, or like 40-40 and the other two will take 10 and 10. But then after that, which one moves on? Like, are they going to beat Patrick Reed or Sergio? Then when they get down there, they're going to beat Rom or Xander. So like how you build out your lineup, still there's quite a bit of an edge. And I think building optimally is still the preference. But I think there's different ways to look at how they advance through the round of 16 in the quarterfinals, and that should give you some leverage. Just looking through my player pool today and guys coming out of group stage, I think there are some ways to maybe look at the groups a little different. There's definitely going to be some chalky names like we touched on DJ and Rory, certainly. But I think in the lesser known brackets, that's where your edge will come from, and it's just a matter of making good decisions.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, everyone, I think the general consensus is the right side, for the most part, is the easier side. It's the more up for grabs side. And with that, we've got a lot of value, guys like On, Knox. But the way that they're positioned, I mean, essentially, they're going to be knocking themselves out. So you're going to have to choose, especially in that bracket where Tommy is and, On or Knox or one of them. I mean, one of them is going to come out and cancel out the other. So building a lineup that capitalizes on that side, I think it's going to be tricky, and it's certainly going to be where the money's made.
Yeah, I haven't committed yet. Hopefully the 444 hasn't filled yet, but I'm really tempted to build one single entry lineup where you can get away from, all these people are running 150 lineup, so you don't need a perfect bracket basically, or a perfect lineup through the whole bracket. But I think in like a single entry or higher dollar stuff, there's still an edge to be gained if you can get guys just to the quarterfinals, and they maximize those points. If people are really trying to spread themselves thin in single entry and 3 max, trying to get like the final 4, I think there's an edge in single entry and 3 max by looking at it opposite of a GPP like the $5. So I'm taking 2 different routes, and hopefully one of them or both possibly could hit. But yeah, I think in like the big GPPs, you got to build to try to get as many into the semifinals as possible. And then in the single entry, you can kind of take a different approach with, I guess, more studs that you think can at least get to the quarterfinals. So,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, Giant Beer says upper right side will determine GPP winner for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple in the mid-range where you could really go either direction. Just from what I've heard, people talk about Ben On, Fleetwood in that same one. Oosthuizen people aren't really sure what to do with. And I don't think you have to be crazy on when you talk about ownership. Like you get guys like Stanley, Kevin Na is kind of that category, and then what the heck is his name, Kadira. Like those aren't guys that I would suggest you need to go grab for ownership leverage, because like how far are they really going to go? They're not playing good anyway, so even if they could sneak out of the group play, they're not getting past round of 16. It'd be very, very, I mean, Kevin Na he could pop for sure, but like Satoshi's playing awful, Kyle Stanley's playing awful, and I'm really looking at their first round matches to get an idea of their momentum coming out of that first day, because that'll really set them up. Because like playing from behind on round 2 for the group play is a big deal. If you get behind early in the match, you kind of go into, the back 9, maybe even 1 down, 2 down. You're really pressing, and once you lose that match after you lost on Wednesday, you're out. So I really like looking towards their matches and how they're going to progress in that group. Like just looking at the group, you can maybe pick out a guy in half of these groups to advance. But if you start looking at how the matches will play out, you can say, all right, he'll win this match on Wednesday. He should win this match on Tuesday. He should be able to get through, assuming the other people either have or they flip-flop. So I like that as a leverage play as well. And not so much a leverage play, but a different way to look at building your player pool. So
yeah.
Orange Man. I thought Orange Man was going to skip this one. Oh, well.
I feel like I remember him saying the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, well. Happy to have you.
He just jumped on to harass the bot.
I see that. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the bracket.
All right.
So what we're gonna do, I know it's really small for you guys right now. I'm gonna blow it up here in just a second. But me and Jacob, as quickly as we can, but as as well as we can. We're going to break down these groups and just try to create a preliminary bracket that we think can go the distance. And I know Axis and Fantasy Jesus had their Final Four that they talked about. So we'll kind of get to this. And, of course, as we go through this, you guys, we'll have discussion topics. You guys can ask questions. We'll bring that up if you want. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We got, we'll say 40, 50 minutes to break down this bracket. Let me zoom in. We'll hit this top quadrant, and then we'll hit the top right, and we'll work our way down into our Final Four, man.
Let's do it.
All right. One less. No, one more. See it all right?
Yep.
Cool. All right, man.
That's good.
Let's hit this top one. I will lean your decision as far as this bracket goes. I am building lineups with both DJ and Matsuyama. I kind of like Matsuyama, hopefully from a leverage play off of DJ. So like as far as GPPs, I will probably have more weight to Matsuyama. I've seen too many disasters with DJ. Like there's guys that play well in match play and some that don't. Like Bryson's one that's going to be sneaky this week just because he had so much success in like the US Amateur, US Pub Links, all those match play events for the USGA. DJ has not had a ton of success outside of his win a couple years ago. Like Ryder Cup has been mediocre. Hideki's played President's Cup. He's done well. He's hitting the ball well. I really like Hideki kind of moving out of this category. And if I can look up his first match, I had it up. Let's see. He's playing Brandon Grace, and DJ's playing Ches Reavie. So, like, I would lean DJ in the first match, but I still think Matsuyama can break Grace and then move on and finish out this group. So, you kind of the same page, or are you looking different?
No, I'm definitely on the same page. I like Matsuyama as a leverage play. But looking at some statistics over the last 24 rounds, certainly DJ, you can't deny how well he's been playing lately, but Matsuyama, his finishes haven't been there because his putting's been off, but his approach numbers, off the tee numbers, looking at them right now, they're close, if not a little bit better in some areas than DJ. So
that's what I think.
You're taking the money savings, which isn't that big of a deal here. We're not trying to leave a ton on the table, but I love the play of him coming out of this group, and in my single, he will be a staple for me. Certainly DJ's in the group, so that stinks, but Grace and Revy don't really concern me, and honestly, the group below them don't concern me either.
Yep,
and I see Matsuyama as just a really, really good option. And I think he's, let me check the pricing real quick. He's 8,200. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Luke Burgess in the chat just mentioned the him being talked up. And I haven't heard a lot of people in the industry this week. It's obviously a short week and we're super busy keeping everything maintained. But at that price, and he's been playing well, people are smart enough to look at stats for these guys. I think, it'd be interesting to see exactly where the ownership comes out. I think obvious choice would be DJ, but if you're, trying to just think, okay, I don't want to be like everyone else. Matsuyama's playing really well. Let's go Matsuyama. And then all of a sudden everyone switches to Matsuyama. So it's an interesting play there. So I'll just go Matsuyama for argument's sake right now, if you're good with that.
Yeah.
And then we can move down into the next tier.
Well, right before we move, just real quick, one thing about DJ. If you're playing DJ, he's expensive enough that you need to be certain that he's at least making it to the Final Four, and you're betting on him to win this thing, essentially. Plus, you can't really realistically, without having a dead lineup, play DJ and the likes of another top-tier player. Maybe Day or Tiger or something like that. But I just think, you can go Rory there. You can You can go Brooks there. Love the Brooks play when we get down to that region. But yeah, I just last bit on that was just even more solidifying my pick of Matsuyama, in agreement with you.
Okay, cool. This next group, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I think someone out of the first group's going to come out. But Giant Beer had a question as far as the second, or the 116 pairing, the Sergio, DJ, Matsuyama. Outside of that, who do you think could get through? I have a hard time taking Patrick Reed, but I would probably lean Reed. Of anybody that could pop in this event, I could see him doing it, even as bad as he played last week at the Valspar. It's a little bit different for him in match play. So we don't have to dwell on that too much, but his question is basically out of, if DJ, Matsuyama, and Sergio are going to be the popular plays, who out of the side of those three would you pick next?
Honestly, I would probably go Lowry, just because he's got a win this year already.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing good, though. He's been playing pretty poorly since he got over here to Pebble and stuff.
That's true, but we've also seen that you don't have to have great form. I mean, look at Kisner last year coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen form this year, and granted, this is a hypothetical where we're taking out the three top guys, essentially, and Reed has been, absolutely terrible. I think Lowry's an interesting pick. I don't see it as that off the wall. I would certainly take him maybe over Revy, Grace. I
would take Reed or Grace before Lowry or Putnam or Reevy. I mean, Reed's really been playing fine until last week. I mean, he was doing a lot around the green and saving it with his putter, but yeah. I think I would be between Grace and Reed. I don't know where Giant Beard lies with that. But in this group, just to keep it moving, I think the chalk will be Sergio, and honestly, I would probably take Reed. I'm actually not I don't think I have anyone in my player pool from this group, to be honest, in GBP. Yeah. So just for the sake of, do you have a take on either one of these just real quick? Sergio or Reed?
The initial one I filled out, I had Sergio.
All right, we'll take Sergio, and I assume we're both on Matsuyama going through Sergio.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting, though, because, you're doing it now. If you could, update your bracket as you go, because, if Sergio played group stage and really played awesome, and then Matsuyama kind of, snuck through, or he played really good the first two matches, and the last day he struggled, you would probably change your pick on Sergio, because Sergio played pretty well up till the last two events. So it'd be, it's not the case this week, but it'd be interesting to see. Let's go ahead and hop over to the right side of this bracket. I heard a really good take on these two groups, and I'm pretty much just set on two guys actually out of these two that I'm going to play. It's Justin Rose and Bubba Watson. So my pick for the first one is going to be Rose, and the second one will be Bubba Watson. I think this is going to be super chalky, but I just see Bubba is playing too good. There's no reason for me not to play him. Justin Rose, if you look at his recent results versus these guys, plus his first matchup, I think, is against Griot, and Rose should beat Griot, and then he should get Woodland, and I don't really have high hopes for Woodland. I mean, he's been struggling in Florida, which is kind of his MO, I guess. But I would, not to take too much time in this range, I'm just on Rose and Bubba Watson here.
Okay.
I'm willing to eat the chalk in this range.
Yeah, I like both of those plays. My initial one I filled out was Rose and Billy Horschel. But I see, obviously, the Watson pick, winning it last year and, like you said, good form coming in.
Yeah, he's playing good coming in more than the win.
Yeah, but, I could see that second one being a toss-up. Everyone thinks that Bubba should take it, but honestly,
he could be one that breaks a lot of lineups, no doubt. But if I'm really being critical in my lineup construction for 150 and I can't play everyone, I would realistically, if I had to bet my life on somebody getting through, it'd be Rose getting through this top range with how Woodland's playing and against Pepperell and Griot. And then if you had to take a stand, it's going to be Watson. Watson's playing better tee to green than Horschel obviously Spieth, and Kevin Na is still a toss-up. So I would just take Bubba Watson. I mean, he's got a good course history as well. The biggest thing that sold me on some of these guys is off the tee, because I think a lot of people talked about strokes gained approach, or like this is going to be set up for second shots, and it's second shots every week. But if you look at guys that played well here coming in, off the tee was really prudent, getting them in position, in match play. Like having 20 yards less into some of these par fours is a big deal.
Yeah. So
then these greens are tough. Donald Ross greens, man, I take the advantage of the length. So we'll just go Rose and Watson here. And then out of those two, I honestly would probably lean Watson, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that Rose
isn't up and down enough to me. He's consistent. Like if Bubba plays bad, then Rose can just hang in there. But I see Bubba attacking more. So I like Bubba coming out of that group.
Yeah. No, that's good with me.
Poor Skyler doesn't like our non-Pepperell take. I don't like him gaining 6 strokes around the green at the Players versus Rose, just cruising to another like 7 strokes gained tee to green. Yeah. Really ball striking, but all right, let's hop back across to the second side. And yeah, we're still doing all right on time, so all good. Burgess asked about Spieth. Again, I think the time to play Spieth's going to be at the Masters. I'd rather just I think you'd play Billy over Spieth and Bubba over Billy. So
yeah,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking of Masters, the pricing came out today, and he's right where everybody said they needed him to be to play him. So I do agree. For the Masters, he'll probably be pretty highly owned at sub 9K, but for this, no, I'll pass on it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So in this second grouping that's going to face Matsuyama, or could potentially face Matsuyama, we got Xander, Rafa Cabrera-Bello, Ty Hatton, and Lee Westwood. This is a pretty good group, and the next group is actually pretty good too. Obviously, there's not as 1/16s. It's right in the middle. So I'll let you lead off here. Do you have any strong takes? Xander. Everyone loves Xander. I'm certainly coming around to him. You can't fault a guy for winning some big events when it really counts. And outside of Brooks is for Skyler. Brooks has got him beat there for big events. But Rafa's been playing pretty well. Ty is struggling, I think. We talked about his tendonitis, so I'm scared to play him. And Westwood's really been sneaky. So these are the groups I'm going to start having more exposure to, and obviously I'll have groups where, I'll have groupings in my player pool where I'm not going to play these guys in the same lineup, obviously. But Westwood actually came off of the last fall rejuvenated, excited to play at the Masters, getting back in the majors. I think he just got married last year, so that was part of it. But, yeah, I kind of will have a piece of Xander and Westwood, to be honest. I don't know if you have a strong lean, since we only need to have one in for this demo.
Yeah. So Xander was my initial pick, but I've seen him written up quite a bit, and looking a bit further into it, I kind of like RCB to come out of this. I know he's got some match play history here. I think the first year it was here, he got third, and just as you said, when looking at the top right of the bracket, focusing on off the tee, his off the tee for the rolling stats looks, really, really solid, especially at 7,500. We're talking positive strokes gained. What we were talking about, consistency. Last week when looking at these rolling stats, I'm really liking some RCB.
He played pretty well last week, ball striking wise. Ended up finishing 30th. But I don't think he did anything on the greens. I think he had, let's see. Yeah, he lost 2.5 strokes putting for the event. Gained 4 strokes on approach. Gained 4 strokes off the tee. Yeah, I like Rafa. And let's see what his first grouping is, because again, I wouldn't say I'm splitting hairs that way, but I'd like to see him I guess it'd be tough. There's really no one in this group that he would break apart, like Ty Hatton, I guess. But let's just see who he's playing first round.
Is it Westwood?
No, it's Hatton. So, yeah, we'll take Rafa. I'm good with that. I like that pick. And he'll probably be lower owned than Xander for sure.
Yeah.
Xander's probably a strategic fade. If Giant Beer's correct on, obviously, duplicates and the ownership leverage, Xander's got to be going to be a ton of ownership, I would think. What's his price at? Top of your head, if you know.
93, 94.
Yeah, I could see him getting some. So, all right, we'll take Rafa. The next group that would be playing him is John Rahm, Kuchar, Holmes, and Siwoo Kim. And Skylar had a little bit of a Siwoo, but not enough. It was not very good. So we'll have to get him ready for the Pat Mayo show next time. Compete with him. So out of this group, man, I think Kuchar and Rahm will be the main two out of this group. That'll be the most popular. I don't think Holmes will get much. Siwoo, I don't think will get any besides whatever people think they should play him instead of bet him. But I see both sides. I saw Rahm and I saw Kuchar. Kuchar, the argument was he's so steady that Rahm would need to beat him, and if Kuchar's not making mistakes, then Rahm can get frustrated pretty easily. And in match play, that's actually a pretty big deal. Like sometimes you're hoping for a guy to make a mistake to give you a hole, than you playing well to keep winning holes. So like if Rahm's really not playing great, he might still think, all right, Kuchar, finally he'll hit a bad shot. No, Kuchar will just keep plugging along. So I'm going to look and see who's playing who between Rahm and Kuchar, but that's who I'm leaning between those two. Do you have a different take on them?
I'm leaning Kuchar here. Pete Dye course, he's not going to go beyond his means, especially when it's man versus man. Typically we roll him on these courses where it's, strategic and you need ball placement.
Okay.
But even more so, I think he's calm, cool, just rolling in putts. I could certainly see Kuchar getting out of this group, and I've actually got him going pretty far. So
that's where I was about to look, where if you would put him in, he's going to be going far. So let's go ahead and add him into this. I got Kuchar coming out of here, huh?
That's my choice.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cabrera could put up a good fight, but Kuchar's playing too good. I could see him doing well. Let's throw him in here. All right, let's hop across to the middle, and we'll try to get through these last couple pretty quick, and then we'll really focus on the final 16.
Cool.
All right, man. Paul Casey, Cam Smith, I heard a lot of people going off of, and I'll go ahead and put it out there. He is not in my player pool. He's 100% fade. Charles Howell, Abraham Answer. Who you got out of this group?
Would it surprise you if I told you I had Cam Smith coming out of this?
No, because I know you like him, but just looking at how he's been finishing
his
golf
coming in,
run,
it's not great.
No, and I think people are going to play him, and I don't want to be those people. And I'm not big on Paul Casey either, but I think Charles Howell's sneaky.
Well, he's sneaky last year too and came out of the group.
Yeah, I like him. He's still playing good, man, and he's steady. He's not quite Kuchar-esque, but he's there. He's close.
I kind of like that. You
want some Charles Howell?
Let's put some Chucky 3 sticks there.
Okay. Charles Howell's coming out.
I like it.
Next group, Molinari, your boy Webb Simpson. You're up in his neck of the woods, actually, right?
Yeah, in Charlotte.
Yeah. Thorbjorn Olesen, not quite to the man rocket yet, but I know Thor was a popular one for golf gurus last year, I think. And then Satoshi Kodaira, literally the first person out of my pool. Literally.
That's interesting.
What?
Straight up. No Kodaira love.
No, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I'm on the same page as Skylar. I don't care about his Donald Ross love or whatever it is, but I'm really between. Thorbjorn's sneaky, but I think it's got to be. I think Molinari comes out of this. Webb really struggled last week, so I'm not on Webb this week. So, where you eyeballing? I'm either going Molinari out of this group, or I'm thinking Thorbjorn will be sneaky. Because he's actually been playing decent tee to green and making a ton of birdies.
I like the Olesen play. I think that the narrative is going to be how poorly he did in Ryder Cup and the singles there. And everyone is going to be jumping to Molinari, who was, 5-0 or something for the Ryder Cup. Plus, he's in good form. Olesen is in sneaky, decent form. Missed the cut on the number 2 tournaments ago, 3 tournaments maybe, and then had a good showing his last event. So Molinari, I think, is going to certainly be the chalk coming out of this one. I've heard a lot of bad talk about how poor that group is.
What's funny is I forgot they don't do like a perfect seeding. They do the top 16 seeds or 12 guys, whatever it is, and then they draw.
Yeah.
So Olesen in his first match is playing Satoshi, which is the second to last seed.
That's awesome.
You want to take something sneaky on some Thorbjorn?
Let's do it. Get a little sauce.
All right, Thorbjorn it is. All right, last section here, and then we'll hop across over there. DeChambeau, Leishman, Affy Barnrat, Russell Knox. Another one I'm probably going to have a piece of all of them. Leishman I'm on the fence about, but DeChambeau I like a lot. Affy Barnrat is sneaky. Like the last couple weeks he's been sneaking up into form. And Russell Knox continues to play well. So like I think out of this entire group, Knox would be the one I don't play. Just even with his good form, I don't think he can keep up if DeChambeau plays well, if Leishman plays well. So I just don't think he has enough birdies in him to hang with them. So I would probably just take DeChambeau out of this group.
Okay. So initially I was between Leishman and Knox here. Knox certainly priced really, really low. Could be one of those sneaky plays per se. I don't know what his ownership looks like right now, but I have heard him chat it up a bit with the likes of Ben on. DeChambeau, I haven't seen the play that we're used to seeing when we say his name. I think he's been really wild off the tee, which is something that we're keying in on. So, I could see him getting in trouble on a couple of these holes. Not super sold on Bryson.
Yeah, just looking through the chat, Dedentrament talking about Rahm off the tee over Kuchar, just because I like the off the tee narrative. So yeah, I like both. So I'll be playing Rahm and Kuchar. And then to Giant Beer sees, which I just looked it up, they're actually projecting Howell to have more ownership than Casey. So, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I'll have both in my player pool. I won't have Cam Smith. I won't have Answer. I'll have both. But like for argument's sake, coming out, I think Howell's interesting. But yeah, it's about double ownership Howell over Casey right now.
Is it like
20?
20 and 10? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what it says. That's what it says. So, all right, who do you want to come out of this group?
Leishman was a name that we both mentioned. I don't mind Leishman.
I'll take Leishman for you. I think the next group will take him out, so that's fine. I would take Bryson over Leishman, but yeah, it says Howell's second most popular, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, he's 7,400. He's pretty cheap. Let's see. Casey at, yeah, that's why. $9,100 Casey. If Casey was the same price as Charles Howell, then I don't think it'd be the same.
Well, that's true. I didn't think about it because you got Tiger, you got Xander, and Molinari all within 200 of Casey.
Yeah, it just depends on how people do it. That's why I don't think people are really viewing their lineup construction like we think we are. Like after talking to Skylar and Axis, like I think lineup optimizers are going to shove people in with salary, and they're not really going to take it that close attention to getting into like the Sweet 16 or something like that. So it'd be interesting to see exactly where ownership shakes out, just because I think lineup construction isn't necessarily dictated by salary. Like you don't need to shove in $50K of your salary just to make your lineup look good. You're really just trying to maximize the amount of matches people are playing. So
yeah.
all right.
Giant Beer saying the pod constraint causing everyone to go to the same spots. I agree, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep. All right. So Fleetwood, Oosthuizen, Stanley, been on. Stanley again was like the second one out of my player pool. I'm not even gonna try to catch a falling knife. Oosthuizen, I'm not sold on. So I think I have interest in Ben on and Fleetwood. I would probably just take. Whoa, we don't want to click Kyle Stanley. We'll just take Fleetwood coming out of this group. I probably will have some shares at Oosthuizen, but I think, again, these middle groups, I'll have pieces of all just in different lineups.
Yeah.
So you got Fleetwood?
Good. I'm good. Yeah, good with Fleetwood. I like Ben on, but I don't think, he's salary saver and he might allow you to make a unique lineup, but I don't see him getting past 16, even if he makes it. Yeah. His putting has been atrocious.
That's a very good point.
Ball striking can be through the roof, but if he can't make a 5-foot putt,
Orange Man's picking Ben on to win the whole thing. So I think we're in good company. He's like the cusp of a fantasy golf bag. All right, let's hop to this tier, and then we're almost done into the semifinals. JT, I've actually come down a little bit off of as high as I was early in the week. Skyler's boy, Man Rocket, Mr. Lucas Beauregard, Keegan Bradley, Matt Wallace. This is probably a group that I want a piece of all or I want none. And I haven't really figured out my allocations yet for these kind of, I wouldn't call Justin Thomas a one-off, but this group is pretty balanced in my opinion. JT looks a class above him, but if you look at how he's been playing coming in, I think there's some holes in his game where he could get behind with, Matt Wallace coming overseas and really geared up to play against JT. Same with Beauregard, makes a ton of birdies. And then Keegan's been leading after 1-2 rounds the last couple weeks. So who knows what we get from this week. So I'm not as high on JT getting through this group as maybe other people in the industry. So we can lean the chalk route JT. If you want, just coming out of here, or we could take Man Rocket.
I like neither. I love me some Wallace in this group.
Really? All right. I do like some Wallace.
So here's two scenarios. The first scenario is JT plays how he's supposed to play in this group, and he just rolls everybody. Wrist is not an issue. He just cruises. The other one is, he's not the same JT that we're expecting, and it's anybody's group. Beauregard, the Man Rocket, he's got talent, obviously, but he's also got blow-up holes. And sure, in match play, it's just one hole, but when he's got multiple doubles on a card or a front, those are momentum shifts, essentially. Bradley, we've certainly seen what he can do for the good, also for the bad. Wallace is just solid. I really like his game. I like his demeanor when he's on the course. I love Wallace coming out of this group.
I like it. Like I said, this whole group is ones that I'll probably have pieces of. So yeah, I'm good with Wallace. Looking at his recent results since he got to the United States after the WGC Mexico, Mexico is not a big deal for me, and it's so far back now. It's probably not even worth talking about. But with the elevation stuff, I'm not going to judge someone's approach numbers because they couldn't figure out that their wedge was going at 170 that week. So at the Honda, he finished 20th. Arnold Palmer finished 6th. Players, he finished 30th. And again, I think that was the first time he saw each of those events. And I'm pretty sure he didn't play those last year. So I'm cool with Wallace coming out of there. I think that'll be a very sneaky play. Let's see what his ownership is real quick, just so that I don't upset Giant Beer. Because apparently the three people I thought would be sneakier. Look at Hump in chat. I like Wallace's Tude Moxie. He does have a good attitude.
Yeah.
He's at 10%, which is probably near the low end, to be honest, of a good player.
Yeah.
You're not going to get much lower than that in a 64-man field. All right.
I wish that the bracket under him was a little underwhelming, because then I could, lock him in as a lower play that could make it to the Sweet 16. But I still like him a lot. I think if you're doing multiple lineups, he's an excellent option. He could surprise for sure.
I'm doing the old chatting while I can talk.
Oh, no, you're good.
They're mentioning JT still being hurt possibly from that wrist injury. And he had some tendonitis last year. Then he kind of hit that tree at the Honda, I think it was. It was at the Honda, I think. So there's some questions around that.
Yeah.
Let's hop down to this tier here. Jason Day, or group, I should say. Jason Day, Phil Mickelson, Henrik Stenson, and Jim Furyk. It's another one that you got to make some really tough stands in this group. I am not willing, because I think these guys will all be somewhat owned. Obviously, Furyk coming off some good finishes. Stenson's ball striking still looks decent. Everyone wants to play Mickelson. You don't know what you're going to get. And then Jason Day obviously has a great record and tends to show up at all these big events. So I am really tempted to take harder stands in this type of tier than, a Keegan Bradley, Matt Wallace, Beauregard tier of sprinkling them, just because I think you would get lost in the shuffle of a bunch of duplicate lineups possibly with a bunch of these guys. So any of these guys that really stand out to you coming through, I don't see an obvious play, and basically my leverage there is if I'm unsure in a group, I just try to find someone that they're going to play against that would outplay them past that. Obviously, you only need 6 people in a lineup, so I don't need to have everybody come out of the group. So I'm up in the air in this group. So convince me one of these guys is worth the play.
I feel the same. I wish I could avoid this group, but if I had to pick somebody, I'd probably go chalk here and pick Day. I don't think that Furyk can keep his run going. Just really solid play at the Honda. Yeah, solid play at the Honda. Really solid at what was the last one? Did he do well at the last one too?
Yeah, he did play well. I don't know what he finished, but he was near the top, probably top 10. He finished 18th. Bardown talks about the lefty advantage on this golf course, which I'm not really aware of. It looked like they had pretty even distribution of left to right holes and right to left holes. Yeah, I agree, Giant Beer. If he is going to be chalk, and again, Giant Beer is ahead of me on all the ownership stuff, but
wow, highest owned of the group.
Oh, well,
yeah, it's an easy pass for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, this is like 6 straight days of golf.
Let me glance at Stenson real fast. So his event last week, he gained 3 strokes on approach round 1. He gained 1 stroke on approach round 2, 2 strokes on approach round 3, and he gained 1 stroke on approach the final round. He gained strokes off the tee in every round except round 2. I think Stenson's sneaky coming out of here. I think he might finally be getting. And Stenson used to be a staple in these. He used to be like a Jason Day in match play back in like the mid 2000s. Mm-hmm. Stenson was the guy. Let's take Stenson out of here.
Let's do it. I like Stenson.
What's he gonna be owned? I haven't got the Wrath of Giant Beer yet, so hopefully he's under 15.
I say 12. My guess.
Yep. Good call. 11.6. All right, we got that. Let's hit this one here, and then we'll hit the bottom right, and we'll try to move through these a little bit quicker, and then we'll be able to hit the final 4 and touch on our final thoughts. So, Tiger Woods, Patrick Cantlay, Brandt Snedeker, Aaron Wise. It's another one that I'm going to have a taste of all these guys in my player pool. Mm-hmm. Coming out of here, I think just for sake of time, I guess we'll just take Tiger coming out of here. Seeing him play today, he actually looked like he was hitting his driver pretty well. And any of these guys can beat him. Like, that's why I have a taste of all of these guys. Mm-hmm. Because I think any of these guys can show up. We haven't seen enough to really count them out yet. Snedeker's has been popping. Wise has had a few good rounds, and obviously Cantlay's a really good player. So I like Tiger this week, but I don't dislike any of these guys either.
Yeah, I'm not really looking at Snedeker or Wise any. I think if there was one person I didn't go Woods with, it would be Cantlay, certainly. But I think that, outside of Snedeker, these guys have never played head-to-head Tiger Woods. And I just I never play Tiger, ever. And he's in my lineup this week.
Horseplayer's got a good point as far as would Tiger have anything left on Saturday, and I don't know. I mean,
he'll be running off adrenaline, cruising.
Who knows, man? I mean, honestly, some of these guys, because they're playing so many rounds and like the Masters is right around the corner, honestly, I question some of their motives if they get into like the later rounds and they're not winning. Like, go home. I feel like I've seen that in group play before. Is guys like they lose their first match and they don't even try in the second match. Like they try, but they're not like, down 1 with 3 to play and really trying to win. They're just like, well, let's just see if you give me the hole. I'm not gonna go crazy, and then they go and get ready for the Masters. So I'm not saying anyone in this group is going to do that. I'm not talking about Tiger going to be quit early to go prepare for the Masters, but I do think guys know how much golf is on the horizon if they play through this event, and guys that don't need to prove something are probably less likely to fight through a match, in group play or in the first 2 rounds after that. So let's just take Tiger coming out of here, and then we'll move down.
Yeah, good with me.
Let's see.
You can just go ahead and click the next one too.
Rory?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading. Bardown says, why would he try a tournament like this if he didn't think he couldn't with the Masters coming? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, some of these guys do that anyways. Like, they'll enter the tournaments. It's free money, basically. And even though he doesn't need the money, but honestly, he could think he's healthy. We don't know.
I think it's a different Tiger. I think that we see him being very strategic with his schedule, planned breaks between tournaments, and he planned to play in this event. Like, he's not playing next week, so I think that he feels good, and I'm not taking that into consideration. I think we're going to see full Tiger. I think he wants to come out in this 1v1 format, and
yeah, it's just a lot of golf. I mean, especially if a couple of these matches go full 18 or extra holes, I mean, it's a ton of golf. So with having a back fusion, that's not a small deal.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So Orange Man thinks Rory's going to get upset. And honestly, I'm not high on Rory. I don't know what his ownership's at, but I think he will have a letdown this week because of his big performance the last couple weeks and then winning at the Arnold Palmer or the Players Championship. So Rory is projected for 19.2% ownership. I have a piece of Harding and List. So Harding's been playing really good overseas, and I don't know what his ownership's at. But let's take Harding out of this group.
Good with me.
And then out of here, I guess we'll just take Tiger.
Yeah.
I think if Tiger can make it this far, he should be able to win the next one. And then from here, it's a question mark. So final group down here, and then we'll move into the final, I think, quarterfinals is what we're at. Yeah. Perfect. Tony Finau, Ian Poulter, Kevin Kisner, Keith Mitchell. I want them all, but give me one to move through.
Poulter.
Yeah. I think if anything, maybe Kisner.
I could see Kisner.
I mean,
I could see Finau too. Man, this is a
Mitchell.
tough one.
Yeah, this is a really tough one. So it's glad we don't have to build brackets. We have to build lineups because I can have a piece of these guys. But yeah, I like all of them. I probably like Kisner the least. I don't think he'll repeat his finish last year. These guys, Poulter's playing great. Mitchell's been playing good. Finau should show up at some point this year. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and just take Poulter coming out of here. I think he'll be fairly popular, but I don't hate the play. And he's a good match play player. So,
oh, yeah.
Really good. All right, man. Brooks Koepka, Alex Noren, Haotong Lee, Tom Lewis. This one's easy for me, man. I'm just taking Brooks. I'm not playing. I have interest in Haotong, but I don't think he can beat these guys. I don't think he can beat Koepka. I think all these guys beat Noren, but I think it's Koepka for me.
Yeah, no, I'm on Koepka all the way through.
I think Koepka actually will like this 1v1, like being in a match against one guy. Like, I feel like he thinks that's more embarrassing to lose to one guy than, miss a cut against however many guys. Yeah. So I think he'll actually ball out this week.
But yeah, that's how he psychs himself out. He gets offended before a match play event.
I just feel like he'll be paired with these guys, and he doesn't want to lose. Like, oh, you lost to that guy. But if he misses the cut in an event, you just missed the cut. You didn't. Oh, you lost to these 72 guys. So I don't know. We'll see. He's getting ready for the Masters as well. Obviously, he wants to win, get close to winning the Grand Slam. So I like Koepka peaking in this event, and I think Koepka could outplay Poulter. So I would take him out of this group.
Good with me.
Cool. All right, where are we at? All right, man. Let's hit these last few pairings to get us into the semifinals, and we'll move on. So what did I miss? All right, Matt Wallace, Henrik Stenson. You real high on Matt Wallace? I think there'll be one of these sleepers that gets through to the semifinals. So I like Wallace.
Let's go Wallace. I really like Wallace. I think he can beat Tiger. Me if he goes. You want to put him past Tiger too?
I want to put him past Tiger.
All right.
Oh, it went. Okay, cool. And then top range, Hideki, Kuchar.
Cooch.
And Horse Player says Brooks is only 10% owned.
That's crazy.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's his, yeah, not bad, 10-3. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah,
Kuchar, Matsuyama. You take Kuchar over here?
Yeah.
And I'll take Kuchar over Matt Wallace at this point. Man, I hope this plays out.
It'd be great to watch, wouldn't it?
It really would. Charles Howe, Thorbjorn Olesen to play Bubba. I think I would take Howe. He's already being chalky, so we're not, against the grain there. But
yeah,
I'll just go ahead and take Charles Howe, advancing past Thorbjorn.
Yeah.
And then out of here, man, I would have to lean Bubba. I haven't decided if I have him as a champion yet, but I just feel like he's gonna play. He's playing good. He likes the format. We'll move him on through.
I'm good with him moving on and then losing to Brooks here in the final four.
Okay. Leishman, Fleetwood. I don't really like Leishman in this group anyways. I had DeChambeau. I think DeChambeau versus Fleetwood would be a better match. So even though you like Leishman, I'm taking him out, putting in Bryson.
That's fine.
Bryson
They're going to lose
Fleetwood.
Fleetwood, whoever it is.
You think Fleetwood will beat Bryson?
I think Fleetwood beats whoever comes out of that group.
Okay. And you got Brooks coming out of them.
Yeah, but I do think Fleetwood Brooks is going to be good if that happens. I'd love to see that match.
Giant Beer says Finau's his favorite low owned. Poulter and Kisner will be higher owned than him for sure. Yeah, Finau will be super low owned, I think, because he hasn't popped yet this year. And
he has a minimal match play record, if none, right?
Yeah, same with Bryson didn't play this last year. He had not even been Bryson was nobody at this time last year. So yeah, I can't remember if Finau had done anything yet. Oh shoot. I'm just trying to look up Finau lead in real quick on if he's done anything. He said Finau 2-1, 3-1. Yeah, Finau's playing a little bit better. He finished 22nd at the Players. He gained a bunch of strokes putting, but he was gaining strokes off the tee again. He just lost half a stroke on approach, so getting close. I like that play, Giant Beer. I'll definitely have a fair share of him. He's one that you can get before anyone catches up.
It's true.
All right, Brooks coming out of here.
I like Brooks.
I'm torn. Man, I feel like this will get it gets tough between if Fleetwood makes it this far and Brooks makes it this far. I don't know. I feel like Mr. Fleetwood could make it through, but I'll take Brooks against Bubba here. So our final four would be Kuchar, Wallace, Bubba Watson, Koepka. Who's playing Kuchar?
That's tough.
I think Bubba repeats.
Repeat champion.
Or is Kuchar going to win for the third time? I think Bubba repeats. I think we throw him in the final group.
I can get by that. We all know that he plays well on courses he likes, and winning it last year, I think he comes out, and I could definitely see him doing the same.
He plays so free. Like, he goes in these matches and he just tries shot. Like, this is the perfect golf for him because if he makes a 12, it doesn't matter. So he's just hitting huge cuts. He's bombing drivers. He goes for every par 5. Like, he's not scared to make a big number because there's no consequence. I mean, you lose one hole. Obviously, you don't want to lose one hole. You don't want to waste a hole. But he's more willing to hit these shots that in a stroke play event, maybe he plays more conservative. So I like that upside for Bubba.
Yeah. Book it.
Bubba's
your champion.
Who's going to win out of Wallace and Koepka? Koepka, I guess.
Yeah, we want to be super crazy. We can do the Wallace run.
Here's the deal. If Koepka and Wallace make it into this third place, the consolation match, Koepka didn't win the event, so he doesn't care. Wallace wants to win some money. I think Wallace wins.
I like it.
There you go. That's what will happen.
Total birdies in the championship match. Is that for
it's probably just
both players?
I'll say 11. Boom.
11. Good.
Oh, I gotta sign in. All right, that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Brooks. I wouldn't say gives up, but I think Wallace has more to play for in that third place match than Brooks would. Brooks loses, he just says screw it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm sure there's a rule in the PGA Tour, like they don't want you withdrawing or leave, like, oh, I need to leave from this match. But if he could, I think Brooks would just be like, I'm out. I don't need my check. I didn't win. So there you go. We actually covered that in 50 minutes. We did pretty well. So obviously with the match play bracket, I thought this would be kind of fun to break down each of the groups. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you guys. If you guys have any final questions, we'll hop back to our primary. Yeah, he'll no-show the... Yeah, Brooks won't care if he loses and plays a third-place match.
Yeah, he'll pull a burger and he'll show up to the tee on 1 for the third-place match, hit a ball, and walk off.
Now, if this were to happen, do you think the books would catch on to it? I think they would be smart enough to be like, yeah, Wallace's favorite. They would get so much fish money on Koepka. I mean, for value, I guess it wouldn't really be fish money. But like, oh yeah, Koepka's plus 130 or 125 to beat Wallace. Everyone would jump to that. That would actually be pretty funny.
Yeah.
So any final questions, guys? Hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast with Skylar. You see Skylar there in chat. Little purple guy. Yeah, JT and Noren. And the consolation last year.
Did Noren win that?
In the consolation? He might have. I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, Orange Man, good luck with Benny on winning the whole thing, man. Hopefully that works out.
Not going to happen. So to confirm, we simulate brackets, start with our final 4, and sprinkle in 2 more from different quadrants.
You can drop that into Slack, man, because I think Axis and Skylar are handling all the strategy and build overviews. So hop that in there. Yeah, Norn won. So any other last minute questions, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you found it somewhat beneficial, at least to talk through player pools, even though it's a bracket and we took 1-to-1. Obviously, I touched on guys that I am willing to X out and guys I'm willing to sprinkle. So hopefully that did help in your player pools if you haven't finalized them already. Any other final thoughts there, Jacob?
No, not particularly. Really, really liking that Matt Wallace call, though. The more I think about it, like it a lot.
Oh, look at Giant Beer dropping knowledge. In-play betting might be actually a good way to hedge if you're near the top. If you're near the top in a GPP on Saturday, because someone was talking to me earlier today about if you have the final 4 and maybe a couple other guys. I was trying to figure out how this would work. Yeah, because final 4 is final 4, and then there's a consolation match. I guess that could still change it, I guess. But, you know, say you and I had the final 4, our last 2 guys got knocked out in whatever round, and I'm 20 points ahead of you, you're 20 points behind me. We had the same 4 guys playing. you can't really, you can't change your ranking. So like on Saturday night, it'd be over, technically.
Technically. Wasn't there some crazy stat with the number of people that had the correct Final Four was like, I mean, I know it was an outlier because like Kisner.
Yeah, the GPP winner will be decided Saturday, assuming there's a guy with 404, and whatever the standings are there, they can't move.
Yeah.
No matter how many people have 404, it can't move.
This is the 1 week where you want to be leading on Saturday.
That's right. The 1 week you're not afraid to fall back because you can't. Man, this is going to be the TV ratings on the PGA Tour or Golf Channel are going to drop on Sunday, and they won't understand why. Like Wednesday, it'll be through the roof. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, everyone will be like, I don't care. It's over. So 3 of 94,000 last year had the correct Final Four. I'm sure that'll be higher this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giant Beer. Sunday will be boring. There is some Punta Cana, the Hero Indian Open. I know we have some content. Skylar is helping us out with that. So if you're interested in playing some of those alternate tour events, I'm definitely going to be playing. I mean, after tomorrow, you have time to lock it in for Punta Cana and the Hero. Or not the Hero. Yeah, the Indian Hero. So, all right, guys. Any other final questions? If not, we'll get you out of here. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully you found this valuable. Hopefully you found the podcast valuable. Sungjae, 11,000 or something. Lock it in.
Crazy.
Lock it in. I don't know what his odds are, though. Like, I'd be willing to bet him, but at 11K, I feel like you're going to have to dip into the 6K, which is just like the Puerto Rico Open. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, 6K in the Puerto Rico or the Punta Cana is going to be terrible.
I would think. Let's see. Let's see. He's 16-1. There's really no short odds in that event. They're all fairly long. Interesting. And I think Skylar and Fantasy Jesus will have their card up there as well. I didn't touch on that, but you can find the betting card for the WGC if you go to fantasygolfbag.com/betting cards with a dash between betting cards. They have that up completely free for all the free spectator memberships. Without further ado, guys,
yeah,
I got to go build some lineups. You as well?
Yeah. Actually going to do it tonight. It's not done yet.
You better hurry, man. Lock tomorrow, don't forget. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Fantasy Golf Bag live stream. We'll see you probably throughout the week. We'll be dropping like showdown stuff. Probably Axis and Skylar will be touching on round-to-round head-to-heads. That'll be pretty fun. So you have plenty of betting and action all week. And, of course, we'll see you here again next week. And then in 2 weeks, we got the Masters. So hang in there. Enjoy this week. Don't go crazy. Hopefully you guys are sitting atop the leaderboard on Saturday night. Jacob, I appreciate it, man. We'll see you later this week, man.
Yeah. See you guys. Good luck.